There was once someone who did such amazing things and said such wonderful things that people just had to ask who he really was. Once, when they asked, he said, "I am the light." I see the love of God in you, the light of Christ comes shining through, and I am blessed to be with you, O holy child of God. The one that said, "I am the light," changed to be in all places at all times. See this light? How it's just in one place? Let's change the light. Look, the light's changed. It's growing. It's filling the room. It's becoming invisible. It's filling the rooms with the light of Christ. As you go about this room today, know that the light is there. And when you leave this room today, know that you take the light of Christ with you wherever you go. Now watch carefully so you always know what today's lesson looks like. God promised Abraham that he would be the father of a great family. But Abraham and Sarah only had one son. Isaac married Rebekah, and for a long time they had no children until with God's help, they had two sons, Esau and Jacob. Esau and Jacob were twins, but they were not like each other. Esau was big and Jacob was small. Esau had red hair and Jacob had dark hair. Esau was hairy and Jacob had smooth skin. Esau liked to hunt and Jacob stayed by the tent to watch the sheep. Esau was born first, so he was the one who was supposed to have his father's things when he died. Isaac loved Esau best, but Rebekah loved Jacob best. Jacob thought it was not fair that Esau was treated special because he was the oldest. They had been born on the same day. Once Esau came home from hunting and he was very hungry. Jacob had made some soup. Esau asked his brother for some. "I will give it to you," said Jacob, "if you agree that I can have father's things when he dies." Esau did not even think about it. What use are father's things when I am so hungry? He took the soup. Now there was an agreement between the brothers that Jacob would be like the oldest son. Isaac was old. He could not see. He asked Esau to go hunting and make some stew that he liked best. Then Isaac would bless him. Rebekah overheard this. She thought Jacob should get some lamb instead of some wild animal. They put animal skins on Jacob's arms so that he seemed hairy and dressed him like Esau. Jacob went to his father with the stew. Isaac believed that Jacob was Esau, and he laid his hands on him and blessed him. When Esau returned with the stew for his father, he discovered that Isaac had been tricked into giving away the blessing that should have been his. He was angry and threatened to kill Jacob. Rebekah asked Isaac to send Jacob away to her family to find a wife, and Isaac agreed. Jacob set off quickly through the desert towards Haran, where his mother's family lived. One night he found a rock and made it his pillow. While he slept, he dreamed of a great ladder stretching all the way into heaven. There were angels climbing up and down the ladder, and God seemed to be above and around and beside the place. A voice said, "I am the God of Abraham and Isaac. I will give this land on which you lie to you and your descendants. Through them all the world will be blessed. I am with you, and I will bring you back to this land." When Jacob awoke, he knew that he had heard God in his dream. He poured oil on the stone so that he would always remember what God had said. And he named the place Bethel, the house of God. Jacob traveled on, and he came to a well where the shepherds watered their flocks. There was a beautiful young woman there with her father's sheep. She was Rachel, the daughter of his mother's brother. Jacob wanted to make her his wife, so he offered to work for her father, Laban, for 7 years in exchange for his permission to marry Rachel. After 7 years, the wedding took place. When Jacob saw his wife's face, he discovered that he had been tricked and that he was married to Leah, Rachel's sister. Laban told Jacob that he could marry Rachel too if he worked another 7 years. Finally, Jacob and Rachel were married. Then Jacob worked 7 more years for his uncle. All this time God blessed Jacob and his work, and Laban's flock grew. Jacob worked for his uncle for 21 years. Then God came close to him and told him it was time to return home. Jacob packed all of that he had and began the journey home to his family. Jacob was afraid to meet his brother again. Esau had threatened to kill him and was coming to meet him with 400 men. Jacob prayed to God and sent presents to Esau. That night, he went apart from his family to pray, and a strange thing happened. Someone struggled with him all night. The stranger touched Jacob's thigh, and his hip came out of joint. But Jacob held on until morning. The stranger said, "Let me go." But Jacob knew this was no ordinary person. He refused to let go until the stranger had given him a blessing. The stranger said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob. You will be called Israel, for you have struggled with God and with people, and you have prevailed." And he blessed him. So Jacob called the place Peniel. Which means the face of God. He knew he had been struggling with God. Jacob caught up with his family, limping because of his injury. When he went in front of them to meet Esau, he bowed down in front of the ground as Esau came near. Then his brother ran to him and put his arms around him. Finally, old Isaac died. His sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Jacob, or Israel, as he was now known, had 12 sons. Each of these sons became a head of a tribe. Now there were 12 tribes in the great family, and it was called Israel. I wonder, did you like this story? I wonder, if there's anything in this story that we can take out and still have everything we need. I wonder what part of the story is most important. I wonder where you are in this story. I wonder, will you think of this story today? Or maybe another story. But whatever you do today, know that you take the light of Christ with you wherever you go.